agents owed millions. If it was any other group of people, you'd almost feel sympathy, wouldn't you?
Yes, but they've done their job of work and they're expecting to be paid. I imagine it's come out through the agents or maybe the 6 players that have been released. There's bonus payments that are due though, Jim. They've kept them in the Premier League. They've signed the contracts. I understand that they're going to be paying those monies at the end of August, so that's fine. So let's wait to the end of August and see what happens. If they don't get paid, then obviously one assumes they're going to be breaking Premier League rules.
Yeah.
They're still able to buy players currently and operate. As we've heard, they're buying Matt Turner today. So they're in the transfer market. It doesn't look good, though, for the club. It's not a good noise around them. Certainly doesn't seem to be affecting in the transfer market. But Jim, one assumes that all this will be paid at the end of August.
It could have an impact, though, couldn't it? If they get a reputation for stuff like this, if you're an agent and you've got multiple clubs chasing your player, you might think twice about placing them at Nottingham Forest.
It's a fair point.
Well, maybe the player,
exactly the point.
Maybe the player might feel, am I actually going to get paid there? I don't think we're in a situation quite like that. But Jim, as I say, let's wait and see what happens between now and the end of August.
I mean, as Mike says, Oman, it's not a few quid; it's millions. It's running into millions, reportedly.
Well, and have they got the ability to pay that? Then the concerning thing, and certainly the manager doesn't need all this noise around him. Your new signings are hearing this. People, it's not a good story for the club. They're trying to attract people to the football club. We were, to see Nottingham Forest back in the Premier League last season was a real tonic. It was nostalgic to see them back there after all those years. They've somehow managed to stay up. I thought they were going down. I think a lot of people thought they were. Yeah. And this will be a really difficult second season. You start looking at this sort of noise and you think, well, okay, will they stay up? Will they survive it? So they want to tidy this up as quick as they can.
Well, they do. And interestingly, it comes at a time, Alex, when Steve Cooper spoke to us and said, unlike last season when it seemed like the world and his wife were joining Forest, this time could do with a few more. Have a listen.
No, we need more, Jim. To be honest, I think we've got to be open enough to talk about signings. Because I think that it's quite rightly probably a feeling of, because of last summer, that we just signed a load of players, and of course what happened last season was unique, and I talk quite openly about it, something that never happened before. But we now are going through that normal process of, we have a squad, but we want to get better because we want to do better than last season, and to do that, the main factor is to strengthen the team and the squad, and is a little bit more normal this year than what it was last year for sure. But we've got the idea that we do want to improve, and hopefully, by the start of the season and on certainly the end of the window, that there are some more players that have come in, and I'm sure some players that will leave as well.
That was Steve Cooper speaking to me a short time ago. I mean, Alex, the point you made earlier is a good one. Agents at this time are bursting to do business.
Yeah.
With whosoever they can, the right kind of business preferably. And of course, if you get a club like Forest, who Steve Cooper's making the noises that agents love to hear, then agents in an ideal world will be queuing up to get their clients to that football club. If they're not going to get paid, and the club's withholding money that they feel is due to them, then there is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that the Forest have declined to comment so far, so I guess in some ways this is speculative, but yeah, I think it could be an issue, because you look at the market that Forest are in for Anthony Elanga, for example. I know Everton were looking at him as well. They're fishing in the same pond as quite a lot of those clubs in the bottom half of the Premier League table, so I don't think these kind of stories are helpful in terms of recruitment. I wasn't worried about Forest for this season until I heard Steve Cooper there and suggesting that maybe they're a little bit short. They need one or two more bodies in. We talked about Matt Turner, but I think he's only going to be backup goalkeeper. I think Dean Henderson is the one they want as number one. Elanga has signed. Will Awoniyi be able to pick up where he left off last season and lead the line up front? Maybe they could be in for a more difficult season than I thought. And of course there is interest as well in Brennan Johnson. I think keeping hold of him is going to be absolutely crucial for Forest.
Massive.
Do you think they're in for a tough season again, Alex? Well, Martin, looking at it, it's neither one thing nor the other. Cooper last year, this guy's joining, make him fit, this guy's joining. This time he's looking for more.
Jim, I think it is a nightmare when there was 22 players coming through the door and you've got like 3 left backs, 2 right backs. it's like a trialing system within, isn't it, to try and get the players that you want in this. It wasn't ideal. They'd come from a situation where they had lots of players on loan, and so no one was really contracted to the club, so they were in a unique situation. But we're now 6 days from the start of the new season, and they don't appear to have their first team goalkeeper in position. So it's a little bit of a nightmare in terms of what they are doing with their transfers, and the manager is just going to wait for a goalkeeper to be signed. So work needs to be done. There are problems. I know that agents would be reluctant to deal with them if they're not going to get paid, but the recruitment's key to them staying up, and they certainly don't want to be losing their best player. Johnson is. We're hearing that there's been offers coming in. Brentford are on the phone every weekend, aren't they, trying to sign him?
Well, they've been chasing him for about 2 years, so this is not new interest. But you're right, yeah, they're very keen. And again, once you start putting bids in, usually that's because you've got a little bit of a nod from the player side that, yeah, I'm open to this deal.
I think it'd be a sort of disaster. The fans would be in uproar if they were to lose Johnson.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.